Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Paniraj Murthy, organizing committee member of Logistics Shakti Summit and Awards. I'm also representative and a COO of RTV Cargo Movers Private Limited, Bangalore. Logistics Shakti and Summit is not only just a conference; it is a platform where we bring the people and we bring the technologies and also we bring the new innovations to develop the future of logistics industry in India and globally. Today, in this podcast series, I have a very eminent person in the cargo industry who has spent around 3 decades to put himself into the cargo industry to bring the excellence in operations in air cargo precisely, and also been served in domestically in India and also in international in Dubai and other countries, and company like in the Emirates and in Air India and all that. So his name is Mr. Ramesh Madlani. रमेश जी वेलकम टू द पॉडकास्ट सीरीज सो जस्ट हमारा दर्शकों को ये बता दीजिए आपके बारे में थोड़ा कुछ हम सब जानते हैं आपका जो कामयाबी जो हुआ है we wanted to know in detail about for 2 minutes about your career and your achievements kind of it.
Thank you, Dr. Paniraj, and good morning, all of you. I'm extremely happy to be here. It is very exciting that this conference, which is going through its second series, a second session, is happening in the same place, which is in Delhi. So I attended last year as well, and I'm happy to say that even this year it is being held very successfully back in the same place. So, as you explained, I've been in the industry for more than 3 decades. This is my 35th year in the industry. I've kind of worked predominantly in air cargo industry over the 3.5 decades that I've mentioned. I've worked with companies. I started working as a management consultant at the beginning of my career, then moved to Dubai to work with the Emirates Group. Within the group, I worked with multiple companies, with the IT arm, with the ground handling company, which is Donata. And before I left the group in 2012, I worked with EK Sky Cargo for a number of years, heading infrastructure development, operations, product development, and projects for the group. So I came back to India in 2012 to head the business of airport cargo for Delhi Airport. I worked with them until 2019. Then I moved to Adani to head the cargo and ground handling businesses, and came back to Delhi to head the global cargo business for Air India back in 2023. Since then, I've been leading the cargo business for Air India Group, which is Air India and Air India Express both.
Yeah, fantastic. So we could say that in decades of the 35 years back. So we could see kind of an unprofessional way which was in cargo and road transportation was handled. And today in 2026, where we could see the transformation from the non-professional way to professional way. So what is your opinion? What made this industry to change from the unprofessional way to the professional way? And how is going to be the future, so say about 2047?
Air cargo in specific, obviously over the last 12, 13 years since I have come back to India to work with the industry in India, I have personally seen a major change. I think it kind of includes many dimensions of the industry, be it technology, be it processes, be it infrastructure development, be it the growth of the industry itself, people, right, the training expertise, companies, so on and so forth. I think many things have actually dramatically, rapidly changed over the last 12 years. I think when just about a decade ago, the size of the industry was also very small. We were just about million tons, both domestic as well as international. I think last year we kind of exceeded 3.5 million tons, which is still small, compared to what you see in other large airports around our country, which is Dubai, Hong Kong, Singapore. We are still a very small player in the air cargo industry because those airports alone do as much as they do in India, right? So I think the potential for future is very, very huge. We see a lot of things happening around us. I think a lot of airports are still being privatized. We see a lot of airports are still expanding infrastructure. Obviously, we have a lot of airlines like the one that I come from. We are investing a lot in expanding our fleet capacity, both wide body as well as narrow body, and we will possibly see more airlines coming and investing in India for the airline capacity expansion. And I will not be surprised if people come and actually invest in freighter operations, which is very small at this stage in India. That is because the size of the industry, which is 3.5 million tons, is expected to become in excess of 10 million tons in about 5 to 6 years' time, right? So, so much is the capacity demand that is expected to take place in India in just about 4 to 5 years. That's on the airline cargo capacity, the belly capacity. But if you look at the airports as well, I think collectively the airports today only have about 4.5 million tons handling capacity. But then when it becomes 5 years later, 10 million tons, so much is the extra capacity that has to be coming in as well. So that can that can happen provided the airports invest money, expand the handling capacity of the airport. But very importantly, technology is also changing, but the business models may also change. So all that capacity may not have to happen in the airports. Some of it actually happen like it happens in CSF, the container freight stations in the sea industry. So some of that capacity may actually happen outside the airports. I think it is very exciting. I see a lot of change happening, a lot of transformation that is expected to happen in the next 10 decades. One example, the import well time, shipments that come into the country cleared and waiting for delivery or to be delivered to the agents used to take something like 300, 400 hours, back in 2011, 2012. Now that itself, thanks to the technology, thanks to the customs related transformation that we have seen over the last decade, in many airports today, the 300, 400 hours has become something like 24 hours, right? Which is great. We are very happy with that kind of a change that we have seen. But that is not the end of it. But when you see some of the advanced airports, they deliver in 3 hours time. So which is where we need to reach. So we have achieved a lot, and we have been very successful. But that's unfortunately is not the end of it. We still have a lot more to do, and I'm pretty confident in the next 4 or 5 years time, a lot will change, a lot of positive changes, a lot of growth will happen in the country.
Being in the study, as you explained, that 3.5 million tons, which are handling in 24, 25, if I'm not wrong, it is. So, is the Indian air cargo industry geared up to handle the 1x or 2x in how many years in the future? Is
Yeah,
it
you're right.
197 airports, something 197 plus airports we have? Do we have the cargo handling facilities in all the airports? How it will be? How fast the growth of this air cargo industry? And also, one small question on that: is that air cargo industry can be a competitor for the road transport industry?
Mhm.
Because 197 airports are connecting in the zigzag of India, so it may connect some, more than around 20,000 pin codes over there. So can it be a competitor for road transportation?
That's a very interesting question, and all of us in the industry we keep discussing about it. Let me address the last one first, which is very interesting. So, if you compare surface and air, I think we are at a stage where surface actually is competing with air, right? The reason why I'm saying it is, if you look at the low-cost carrier airlines network, we have a lot of flights between non-metro to non-metro,
Okay.
metro to non-metro, which are basically within, let's say, 300, 400 kilometers radius. Now, in these cities, if you look at air cargo, some of us actually carry no cargo at all because people find surface to be efficient, cost-effective, more integrated into their network. So today, surface is actually eating into what used to be air cargo in the past. Having said that, this is to me is a short-term phenomena, and the way I look at it is, uh, for you to develop the hub and spoke in the country, which is what has to happen eventually. I think efficient surface transportation regionally will complement the development of air cargo. I think that is how it will possibly evolve. And today it is kind of evolving, so we're not able to very clearly see. But when I see 5 major hubs evolving in India, international hubs coming up, and today they're not so. So these are Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, Bangalore, Hyderabad. Some of these airports when they become international hubs, and when we have a lot of manufacturing happening in cities which are tier 2, tier 3, and if these people have to export, they have to connect to one of the major airports, which is where the international export capacity will be. So their connectivity will be using surface. So they need to connect to one of the major airports nearby, and the air export will happen from that airport to international destinations. So in the medium to long term, I see surface and air not competing, but surface and air complementing each other.
Okay.
That is how the transformation will be.
Multimodal operating.
It will be. It has to be multimodal. Today, it looks as if it is competing, but it is not possibly so in the long term. And okay, go back to the initial questions that you've asked. So the 3.5 million tons becoming about 10 million tons or excess of 10 million tons in about 4 years or 5 years needs so much of capacity the airports, as I said in the beginning. But today, if you look at it, there are no statistics, but based on my experience, if you look at all the airports collectively, I think we have close to 4.5 to 5 million tons capacity is what we have today. But the good news is most of the private airports are still investing money to expand capacity, number one. Number two, we have new airports, greenfield airports coming up, Jewar, right?
Yeah.
And also Navi Mumbai. That capacity is yet to come into the market, into the industry. So that may be additional 2.5 to 3 million tons. And we have more airports being privatized. So my guess is by the time the growth happens, collectively we will have in excess to 10 million tons capacity across all the airports. Then the challenge is, do you have the capacity where you need, right? For
Yeah.
example, if really Noida grows and becomes very big, and Noida needs a capacity of 2 million tons, if it becomes a very large hub and it needs 2 million tons, will it have that kind of a capacity? Something that the airports have to see. So airports have forecasting, the governments are looking at it. In fact, we represent an organization called ACFI, Air Cargo Forum India, and Air Cargo Forum India also from time to time produces and distributes forecasts for the air cargo industry in India. So we have given it. I think if they take help of the forecast that we have done, or they have done it themselves, if they invest in building that capacity, we should be okay. If they don't invest, if they don't create the capacity, unfortunately, that becomes a restriction. Then we will not be able to grow and become 10 million tons in about 5 years' time. But I don't see that happening.
Okay. You mean to say there's an I can could have taken a hint from your statement. My friends from the road transport industry should be geared up to face a challenge from the air cargo industry. So could be an opting them as a multimodal operators, so where they can connect in the last mile, so where the primaries and the last mile movements kind of like that. So it's good that key. Uh, what is as in India is expecting to reach 300 million trillions of an logistics cost in 2047.
Okay.
What will be the contributions from the air cargo industry?
So I think if you look at the global numbers, we don't have a number unfortunately in India, but I think we are in line with what happens globally. Globally, air cargo carries only 3% of the trade, 3 to 4% of the trade, but it carries in terms of value, the trade value, 35% of the trade value, because air cargo obviously carries high value goods, things that are time sensitive, things that need speed transportation. So in terms of value, we carry 35% globally. In terms of trade volume, we are only 3%. I think roughly the numbers are very, very similar even in India, although we have a lot of perishable exports that go by air to the Middle East and to Southeast Asia. And I don't really see these these numbers changing for us, right? But the volumes increase, and I see a lot of new segments that are coming in for air cargo, especially defense and aerospace,
Yeah.
which is actually looking like uh, the new green field for the industry.
Yeah.
And when these two industries grow and evolve to become export-oriented industries, like pharma has become over the last 2 decades, then I see the numbers substantially increasing. The other one that I have not mentioned, but which is very important, is uh, like it happens in the sea trade or sea ports. Unfortunately, we have not been very big in transshipment, like Dubai does, like Singapore does, like Hong Kong does, like Doha does. So some of these airports have more than 80% of their volumes at the hubs transshipment, which is, for example, Dubai as an airport may be doing 87% of the volume as transshipment, which is coming and going out of the airport. It is not meant for Dubai. And if you look at Delhi, which possibly has the largest transshipment, it is only some 8% or 9%. So there we have to grow a lot. And so that can happen. Obviously, you need to have an airline that's operating as a hub carrier, but we have now, fortunately. Infrastructure needs to be conducive. The policies need to be conducive. So there are some restrictions now. Both infrastructure as well as regulations need to change. But I'm happy that with the efforts that we have done over the last 5-6 years, these are changing. This is work in progress.
Good.
And I'm sure this will change in the next, let's say, a quarter, 2 quarters.
Okay.
Then transshipment will also increase.
That's great. So last but not least, the question is, what is your takeaway from this Logistics Shakti 3.0? So, what are your expectations?
I think so. I generally attend a lot of air cargo related conferences or aviation conferences, and we don't get many opportunities to attend kind of all inclusive logistics conferences, which means I'm not just dealing with other airlines. I'm not just dealing with my forwarders. I will have an opportunity in this forum to deal with the shippers. Like I've met somebody in Samsung just a while ago. So shippers are the end customers, right? And forwarders and us, even including airlines, we are kind of we are in the middle of the supply chain. So I think I will get a lot of opportunity, like I did last year, to meet with the shippers to get the first-hand feedback as to where we need to improve which products and services that we need to roll out over the next a few years to be successful. But very importantly, the trucking companies, the very, very large successful companies like your company, we also don't get many opportunities to meet the trucking companies. It's very important for us to meet and understand where they're heading. As I said, nobody's competing with anyone. In my view, this is what I've seen in the last 35 years. We complement each other. The moment we see we're competing with each other, then we're not talking. And growth for both of us won't happen. But the moment we see that we can complement each other, we both can grow, right? That's my view, and this is what I've done all my life. So I see opportunities to meet other service providers that can complement my service so that we can actually both grow in the industry. So those are the opportunities I'm looking at.
That's great, sir. Nice meeting you, and thank you for
Thank you.
your
Thanks for this
valuable
time.
insights about the industry and about Logistics Shakti Summit onwards. So, hope to see you again, and look forward to your support, continued support to us. And as you said, uh, in the logistics industry, air cargo and road transportation, since both are two faces of a coin, I can say
Absolutely,
about it.
yeah.
That, so we can't be, serve the customer, how to be to meet the customer's needs without supporting each other on this.
Correct. No, thank you. Thanks for
Sir,
this opportunity.
thank you very much,
Appreciate
sir.
it.